This is a Headgum podcast.
Hello and welcome to Perfect Person, the show where I'm flawless and I'm trying to teach you how to get to my level. Yesterday, I had a whiskey on the rocks with just one little ice cube because apparently nice whiskeys go better with water. It unlocks the flavor in a way that a whiskey neat could never.
Where did you learn that?
Who cares, right?
Yeah, it's just in your head.
I actually think that I did learn it from a friend who said he was talking to somebody who had a whiskey distillery, and that guy said he put a little water in his whiskey.
Ooh,
Whiskey's not really my drink, though.
Whiskey's strong.
I find that I want to like it.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot to like.
If you're drinking a whiskey, you're immediately.
I think your example of being perfect by drinking a whiskey drink is like you trying to show off about like I can drink this, but you don't actually like it that much.
I do. I want to like it.
You want to like it more than you like it.
I just feel like it would be a cool thing for me to have liked.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Rainey Toll and Will Witwer, freelance sidekicks, the core three.
That's
Cheeky,
right.
Cheeky.
That's right. That's absolutely
Did you say
right.
Kiki Jiki?
Cheeky, cheeky.
Cheeky,
Hi, cheeky, cheekies.
You may know us three from our antics over at corporate.
That's right. But we don't have to wear the tie today.
We don't have to wear the tie today. We are off the clock and we are unleashed.
That's right.
And I figured we'd just start by talking about a party.
So we have to get into
We
this.
have to come clean. This is
We are coming clean.
The time when I come clean and we sort of recognize something that was really interesting that happened socially last night.
And I'm really actually glad that we're talking about this because because I do think that I think people call in, they're like, how do you make friends? And you have an answer. And I think I'm just here to sort of be the person who's like, this is actually pretty hard.
Right. So I think what we can do is we have a couple of case studies. And we can this is all just material for you guys to go, how can I be better than them? Okay.
And I think we got to work backwards here. This is a live case study. I want to work backwards here. And I think where we'll start is at the end.
Right. Which
is me seeing Rainey on the phone at we had a Christmas party last night. Me seeing Rainey on the phone and thinking, oh, Rainey's here. And then 10 seconds later, never seeing Rainey again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so that's the end of the story.
Okay, but let's now to go back.
To go back.
So Miles is having a Christmas party.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this Christmas party. I've been looking forward to it.
Right, for sure.
When did you get the invites?
No, I want to talk. No, yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into
You're
that.
looking forward for how long?
Because we'll get into that, Rainey. Because we got a lot of irons in the fire. Maybe I'll come clean first and apologize.
Okay. Yeah, Miles is gonna come clean first.
So
that makes sense.
We are often having parties at our home.
Yeah.
We had a baby rager. I famously, I guess we should go back even further. Rainey was not at my baby rager, and I thought, wow, that's so strange. I wonder if she had something to do. And then I called Rainey and I gaslit her accidentally because I said, Rainey, oh, were you busy on Saturday? Rainey says, I didn't think I was invited to your baby shower, which is psycho because obviously I work with Rainey every day. She's the person I work with the most.
Yeah, if you probably had to count people percentage-wise of your conversations, like Rainey's gonna have a high percentage.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
And so I said, no, Rainey, you were invited. Me gaslighting once again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
You love to gaslight.
I looked on the paperless post and there was a different Rainey who we don't even give a shit about who had blorped her way in to the Rainey Toll email. Now, how this happened, I'm not quite sure.
We all know a million Rainies.
I'm stunned. I know. I'm like, I kind of want to meet her now.
Yeah.
Because I've never met another Rainey. Okay,
You don't need to meet
we
her.
don't need to.
We don't need to meet her. No.
It sounds like this other Rainey's a big zero, but
Sounds like she's a big zero. But anyway, so I got the email wrong. So that's the context going into the Christmas party, right?
Yeah.
So when we normally have parties, Sarah goes, I have a big email list.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of send it. This year, the party was not at our house because we're having a baby. It could be now. Let me check my phone. Is Sarah in labor? No, she's
What if she was? And you're like, all right, well, I guess I gotta go.
cut it, and I would have you guys answer the calls. No, so then Sarah sends out the listserv, and it was from a previous party we had.
Yep.
But often what Sarah does is she'll send out the core list, and then she'll be like, Miles, forward it to everybody.
Yep.
You see where I'm going with this? So Sarah sends out the core list, and I say, absolutely happy to forward it along. Don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't do that
there.
until
Yeah.
Friday, which is yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, where I forward it to everyone from work. So I heard that there was some upset.
Well, no, there was just concern. There was like
concern at work.
There was concern that you had invited people. You were like, I got an invitation to this the day before it's happening.
Yeah,
Does that mean that like people canceled and I'm like the replacement?
Absolutely
guest?
not. No.
You know?
There was people at this party I don't even know.
Right. Well, that's how every party goes.
There was a lot, and I would have loved if everyone from work came, but that was an oopsie on my part.
Yes.
And the excuse I'm giving is that I'm really busy.
Yeah, you're so
it's
busy.
It's a bad excuse.
Right.
I mean, I don't actually think you have a lot of faults in this whole situation. I think me and Will.
Well,
in this
more-
particular,
no,
I
more of
obviously
the
had
fault.
fault in the baby shower gaslighting incident.
Yeah, 100%.
That's obviously on me.
And we forgive you for gaslighting.
Well, you can't.
No, I
That's
do.
For
I
Rainey.
absolutely
That's
do.
for Rainey to forgive. You can't. Don't you speak for her. Don't you.
I would never speak for a woman.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. But so in this context, Rainey, take it away.
So, okay, here's my perspective. Yesterday, I get the email that's like, oh, here's an invite. And I'm like, oh, Liddy, first of all, your parties are really fun.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. But then I'm also like, okay, wait, but I know Without a Recipe Live is going on. So most of my coworkers aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
But maybe Will be there. So I text Will, hey, are you going to the party? What do you say, Will?
Definitely. Can't wait.
And I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to go to this party.
Yep.
Talk to Will.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that you were going to be, if not the only person I knew,
one of
the only people I knew.
Yeah.
And so
smash cut to the party. Rainey
Smash cut
gets
to the
in.
party.
She doesn't know how to get in the building.
Yeah.
She tries to call me. I don't answer the first call.
And are you staring at my caller ID?
I think I sent you to voicemail.
Yep. And that's okay.
And then, so now that's where we followed Rainey narratively up until this point.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now we're going to jump over to Will.
Okay, so all right, this is not an interesting story.
No, it is fascinating.
But I was having a bad day yesterday
Yeah.
for reasons I don't need to go into. Mostly pretty mundane stuff, just
Yeah.
like what have I done with my life?
Sure.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
feeling bad. I got too stoned by myself.
Uh-huh.
I'm tired. I'm like, I cannot be going to a place where I'm going to need to like put a lot of energy in
Sure.
to meeting people and saying
Right.
hi to my friends. Even though like if I had gone, I'm sure I would have had a great time. But I decided in my head, I'm not going. And I mean to text Miles and Rainey this separately.
Yeah, right.
What prompts me to do so is Rainey's second call.
So Rainey calls you once, you send her directly to voicemail.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get in. When I called Will the first time, I was like, I know the party is in the backyard, but the latch is so I'm like, do I go in the front yard? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
going to call Will and see. He doesn't pick up. And I'm like, that's okay. Then I go in and I'm like, I hope Will is if not in this party, 2 seconds away. Cause
right.
it was given sort of, like first day of college and you're like, just have that realization where you're like, I just actually don't know a single person here.
Right.
And so I call him again because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to call him.
right. And you're
Second
also-
call, I'm
yeah.
like, okay, all right. I should probably pick this one up. I'm not doing anything.
You're just sitting there really stoned.
I'm
Yeah.
stoned. I'm sad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to Rainey. And Rainey's like, are you coming? And I'm like, no.
And so again, so my friend group, and you probably came in and you assumed everyone here knows each other
Yes.
and does not know me.
Right.
Which is so untrue.
No, there's
Yeah.
a ton of disparate groups.
There's a ton of disparate groups. There's
wasn't there.
people that know me. There's people that say my name. I don't know what the hell their name is. There's people that Sarah has a big group of friends. So there's
Yeah.
lots of different people that come and go. And those people bring friends that I don't even know. And
Yeah.
all those people are constantly mingling and mixing and meeting each other. So I saw you from across the party and I thought, oh, great, Rainie's here.
Yeah.
Oh, she's on the phone. I thought something dramatic had happened.
Right, of course.
So
Because it's like a party and I'm like in the corner on the phone.
Rainey starts more or less interrogating me about like why I'm in a bad mood, which is like, not interesting. I go on a long walk with my dog. I start trying to coach Rainey into like, just go talk to someone you don't
is
know.
so funny.
Talk to someone you don't know. Like, I'm sorry I'm not there. I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
Right.
We had actually a very sweet conversation.
We did. It was
It was like half an hour.
We talked for 20, 25 minutes. Rainey's on the phone. She's at the party, but she's simply on the phone.
Just locked in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Rainey, all you have to do, it's not like you have to concoct a scenario to like meet somebody. Just go up to somebody you don't know. Say, hey, I don't know anyone at this party. My name's Rainey. What's yours?
Yeah, he was hyping me up. I was like,
And
okay,
Rainey's
I'm
like,
ready.
great,
I'm ready.
I'm gonna
And
do
by the
it.
way, I can tell you right now, that would have worked flawlessly.
Of course it would have
The
worked.
group would have embraced you. They would have said, oh my gosh, hey, Rainey. And by the way, then me and Sarah would have come around and been like, this is Rainey.
Right.
And
yeah.
And so I get off the phone with Rainey. I'm texting with our other coworker who's like, should I go to this party? I'm like, well, I'm not going because I'm in a bad mood. And she, but Rainey is there, and she's like, "Well, Rainey likes to Irish goodbye," and I was like, "Well, you should text. You should text to confirm she's still there."
Yeah.
And this is like 5 minutes after I just had this conversation where Rainey's like, "Yes, I'm gonna introduce myself to someone," and then I get a text again 5 minutes later that's like, "No, she just left."
Yep. She texted me while I was in the Uber. I was like, "Do not say you're right there," because I just left, and she was like, "No, I'm not gonna go."
Yeah.
Because she did,
fair.
yeah.
That's
But
fair.
here's my thing. I feel guilty about this. I get into this sometimes. It's happened to me. I can't. There's a number of like parties that I'm like looking forward to go to that I get into I just start feeling anxious and like,
Oh, I felt the same way at like, of course I felt that way. Like I've been to a party where I don't really know many people and I'm just like, especially if I'm not with Sarah.
Yeah.
And like the people you're there with
if
know
you
people.
know one person, you're golden.
Yeah,
That's totally fine.
Yeah, but it's just, it's hard to break into.
Yeah, and you're sort of
like, I'm friends with these people. Like I should have, I love socializing. Like, I
you
should have
know
gone to
everybody.
this party. I would not have been uncomfortable. I would have
By
been
the way,
like, hey,
And let me tell you, Rainey, right now, if you had stayed,
Yeah.
you would be as familiar with these people as Will is.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. And that was sort of I was like,
But I think this is a teaching moment.
This is
No,
a
I really-
teachable moment.
I do think so because it was so, I saw this quote once. I was like, yeah, I like sort of miss heartbreak because it's so visceral and so intense. And like, as you get older, you don't feel that as much.
Pass.
Interesting. Yeah. We'll just add some big heartbreak. He's good for a
I'm
while.
gonna pass on that one.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm intimidated and I'm like nervy. That's sort of exciting actually.
Yeah, it's true.
And I did sort of flop, but but next time.
Rainey's
next
big
time.
flop.
Rainey's big flop.
Yeah. No, but it's next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
And you just gotta, I think you sort of have to dissociate and just be like, okay, it's gonna be 10 seconds of like a little uncomfortable and then it's gonna be fine.
And there were also like, this is all hindsight 2020, but there were a lot of people that did not know anyone, and then by the end they found a buddy, and then I could see little duos were forming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think all you really have to do. This is true. I used to, as a teenager, be like trying to concoct ways to talk to women I had a crush on. You know how you do it? You
Talk.
go up to them and you say, "Hey,
How's it going?
like,
I'm Will.
I'm Will." Like you just have a conversation.
How do you like your eggs in the morning?
No.
Will saying to strangers at the bar.
When I was in high school, I really liked the pickup line. Not that I ever said this, but like, "Nice shoes, let's have sex." That was funny to me.
Yuck.
Oh, well.
Such a yuck, Will.
I've never said that. Like,
You
it
just
is-
liked the idea of it.
Really
Yeah, I
strong
like
in the
the
first
idea of
half.
it.
Yeah.
Really strong.
But that's
I
what-
like
yeah.
your shoes. Let's have sex. Gross.
Yeah. Like, I like your shoes. I would have been like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I got
Yeah.
them at,
But that's what I'm saying. Come in with a compliment, introduce yourself. That's it.
You don't want to know a good pickup line?
What?
Hey, what's up? I'm Miles. Like saying your name kindly.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I think it applies
That's
to
a good pickup
I think it
line.
applies to friendship too. Like if you're like, "Hey, I'm at this party. I don't know anyone." What do? You literally go up to someone who looks like they're having a good time. Don't go up to someone who looks like they're having drama or they're like secretly talking about something very serious,
Yeah.
Yuck.
Don't need to be involved in that. You're looking for someone who's smiling. You go up to them, you introduce yourself, you have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's
You know-
not
yeah.
rocket science.
You know what's a good pickup line if you're in a grocery store?
What's up?
I can't reach that. Can you get that for me actually?
Really good.
Yeah.
Or just ask someone where shit is.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Where's the oatmeal? And they're like, I think it's on aisle 2. Oh, that's so cool. Wow.
I'm Rainey, by the way.
I'm Rainey, by
And
the
they're
way. They're like, sorry. I have to. I'm in a rush. Trying to get apples.
I gotta get apples to make a pie. Yeah.
You know who I did talk to though at the party? Because as I was leaving to get into the Uber, well, I was leaving to get into the Uber, and then some people came in. They were like, "Is this the party?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's out back." And they were like, "Are you going in?" And I was like, "Well, I was in." And I was like, "Actually, wait a second. All I really wanted from that, I was like, I'm gonna make eye contact with Miles, and I'm gonna have like a meet one of your friends. That was my goal. Didn't do
any of that. You didn't make contact with me or Sarah, two people who you do know. That was your pivotal flaw.
Yeah.
Because if you had and by the way, I saw you in this 10 seconds, and we'll get back to your Uber story.
Yeah.
I saw you in this moment, and I thought, oh, there's Rainey. I was in the middle of the conversation. She's on the phone. Once she's off the phone, I'll grab her and introduce her to this group.
Yeah.
But then, of course,
then I was like, I stood at the snack table for maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can actually do this. And then I went to the bathroom, called the Uber, and and then I went to the Uber. Mm-hmm. This guy comes out and he's like, "Oh, is this a party?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, wait, here we go. Here's my one person that I'm talking to."
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, "Oh, wait, actually, what's your name?" And he was like, and I was like, "Okay, how do you know Miles?" And he was like, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And then it got kind of weird. And I think it was because
you were leaving?
Well, I think maybe it was like because I couldn't tell. Maybe it wasn't weird at all. But I was like, does he think that I was like, I have a girlfriend? Like, did he think I was trying to get at him? But anyway, so I did technically talk to one person as I was getting in the Uber.
And it was somebody that I don't know that well.
Yeah.
But that's the teaching lesson is number one, if you're feeling sad, just go to the party, man.
Yeah,
just
go.
go.
And here's the other thing about go to the party. I went to a party and I stayed past when I knew a lot of people, and I met the wife and mother of my child.
That's right.
Sarah.
Wow.
Bonsignore.
Well, but that's the thing. And that's the
I didn't know that many people, and I lingered.
If you are comfortable with you just having it's just having conversation. It's just like you don't have to put a lot of thought into this. It's not like a prescript of like, hello, I am a human. It is nice to meet another human. You just talk.
I am human. Are you? Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a great case study, and the lessons learned were go to the party.
Go to the party.
Talk to someone, because you know what it is. The longer you go without talking to someone, the
weirder
harder
it is. Yes,
the harder it's gonna be.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You walk into the party. If the person you know is occupied, you go up to a group that looks like they're having a good time, and you sidle in and you say, "Hey, I don't really know anybody here. My name's Rainey. Nice to meet you."
Honestly, even if I was a part of a conversation, it's like push through. Hey, because at the very least, we're going to say hello, and I'm going to bring you to the snack table or to the drink table.
Yeah. And that would have been better than talking to me on the phone for a half hour.
Easy.
Well, Will's stoned as hell watching One Piece.
That's right.
Yeah.
During our conversation, I did take my dog for a walk, which was good.
That's
that was
really nice.
helpful.
Yeah.
But like I felt bad, and I still feel bad for not going because I know I would have had a good time. So
that was a perfect case study on what you should do when you go to a party.
Hey, nobody asked, but we answered.
So we solved the problem here.
We did,
and now we're ready to solve the problems of the people
and humanity at large.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Thrilled to be here.
If you like the show, please consider rating and subscribing it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you love the show, please consider joining the Patreon, where we have a premium version of this episode that you're listening to right now, where we discussed sort of Rainie's drink.
Well, it really opened it up into a whole murder mystery, actually.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about the murder mystery thing.
Yeah.
So if you want a premium version of this thing that's ad-free, and then also a platinum show that's exclusive just to the Patreon, go on and check it out, patreon.com/perfectperson. Until then, let's get to the callers, and people have some issues.
I'm really excited.
We've got some wild ones today. People are really getting it. Everybody knows that I love cash. I love to have it, I love to hold it, and I love to spend it. Now, if your New Year's goals are to manage your budget better and save money, you need Rocket Money. I mean, I'm spending money faster than I can make it on every little trinket and purchase and subscription service. But it's time to say goodbye to last year's outdated, disorganized methods of managing your money and say hello to Rocket Money. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. My biggest selling point for this is that the amount of money that I saved from subscription services I canceled on like day one of using Rocket Money far outweighed the cost that I spent on Rocket Money. I saved immediately like $30 from two $15 subscription services I didn't even use anymore or really remember that I had. So it's cash that you're gonna have with the power of a rocket. That's not their catchphrase. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like that streaming service you bought to watch just one show on, or that free trial you'd never used. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/perfectperson. That's rocketmoney.com/perfectperson. rocketmoney.com/perfectperson. Slash those subscription services and start saving you money, baby. Here we go. All right, so this is one of the callers left a message, and you can always call in by following the Instagram at Perfect Person Pod. Here we go.
Hey, Miles. My problem is that when I was in college, I slept with a high school frenemy's dad, and now it's 10 years later, and this frenemy is like joining my friend group.
Shut the fuck up.
He's dating a really good friend of mine.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
God.
probably gonna like go to their wedding, be in the same room as him and his dad, and I just would need help from a perfect person on how to navigate this as adults. So thank you so much.
She is my hero.
That is crazy.
That is so crazy.
Insane. She in college, right? So not that far after high school.
No, pretty close to
Pretty
high school.
recently.
Yeah.
Like she fucked her frenemies. I don't know. We'll have to find out what that means. Dad.
I love a frenemy. I want to hear how, like,
Yeah, but like
how was it?
I want to hear how was it and how good was the doing.
That's not what I'm as interested in. I'm more interested in like, how did you make that happen? Like,
Is he single?
Did you choose to? Yeah, like, were you at a bar and you were like, that's my frenemy's dad?
Yeah, that probably. Honestly.
What was the? Oh my gosh! Can you call her back? Like,
Yep,
I don't even
I have
know.
a million
I feel like
questions. I have a
I'm
million
so
questions.
excited for this.
Here we go.
Hello?
Hello, you called perfect person because you got with your friend's daddy.
I'm sorry, what?
You called perfect person because you got with your friend's daddy.
Oh, yes, I did do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So I am here with Rainey and Will.
What's up?
Freelance sidekicks. Now,
Rainey!
here, the core three. Now, here's my question. First of all, do you want to use a pseudonym?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Honestly, if you said no, I'd be like fucking balls out. That's great. But let's call you Caitlin.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, Caitlin, I am obsessed with you, and I want to hear so much more of this. When I ask people what's the drama, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is exactly, you're filling my cup so much right now.
Rainey is always hungry for goss, and she'll come into the office just looking for it. Be like, what's the drama?
And
What's
sometimes
the
she tries to create it. Yeah.
Sometimes she's an instigator.
That's how I kind of got into the situation, though, because I did tell this as like a funny story. So I moved out of my hometown. So I'm back in my hometown. So I'm in my parents' basement hiding from them. So if I get quiet, that's why.
Nice.
But I moved out of my hometown and I met other people and I just, drinking and whatever, I would tell the story as like a funny anecdote.
Yeah.
Because it is funny. And it is something that I definitely like did in my more dramatic phase. I did this when I was like maybe 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And I'm now in my 30s. And
Okay, was it 19 or 20? Was it 19 or was it 20?
It was 19.
It was 19. Yeah,
but I don't know if that's better or if that's worse or better.
Well, we'll see. The story is, the story's going to be risky either way.
I think what we're really curious about is what I'm really curious about is like, how did you make this happen? And did you do it to spite your frenemy? Or was it just like a fun, like, I want to have, I'm going to bang this guy. And
a little bit of both. I put it in motion out of spite, but then like as it was happening and once it happened, I was like, oh, that was like funny. And I don't want it to be like because he was like a decent enough guy. So I was like, I don't want to like get too bad. But so this will also not sound great. So my frenemy, who we'll call him Derek, his
Sorry.
Also a fake
it's
name.
interesting because I thought it was going to be a girl. I thought it was going to be a girl.
The frenemy was a girl.
No.
So I assumed,
But then I had to check my assumptions. Yeah.
I
I was like,
check
I guess.
my privilege.
no.
The doctor was a woman, huh?
Yeah. I couldn't decide to my son.
He wasn't like a bad guy. We were just like both theater kids and we were both like a little too much. So
Right.
we like didn't really get along. But
So you guys were like doing Les Mis and he was upstaging you. And so you said, I'm going to fuck your dad.
yeah.
That's basically what happened. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? I'm ensemble? Well, guess who's going to be fucking your dad?
I was actually a techie. I wasn't even on stage, but yeah.
Wow,
same thing.
wow. The ultimate. Wow.
And did he do any particular thing? Did you ever get in a fight with him, with your frenemy?
No. We were more like in the same friend group. We weren't super close.
Okay.
And his dad used to work for my dad. And so when I was in college, his dad was working somewhere else. So I actually went through my dad and got his number to do like an informational interview for like to see if I can't work it, whatever. But
Caitlin, this is fucking crazy. You said, you're my dad's employee. Let me get his number from my dad to do an information.
He wasn't my dad's employee at the time.
Okay, got it.
Was he in the past or in the future? He was going to be.
Moved on.
He had moved on.
Okay.
Your dad had fired him.
He used to work for my
Your
dad.
dad had fired him. And so you said, hang on. So you wanted to... Thank you so much for calling in, by the way. This is making my life. It is a really interesting story, and I hope you feel included, that we're laughing with you, not at you. It certainly is a wild story.
I also laugh at this because, once we met for coffee, it was really easy after that.
Is he hot? Like, wait.
And by the way, when you got coffee, when you say it was really easy after that, did you go into this trying to bang him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't care where he worked. It was specifically, because I told you I put it in motion out of spite. But
what was the spite?
But then I never ended up actually telling Derek that happened because I was going to I don't know. I was planning on doing it and then I was going to rub it in his face. And then I was just like, I don't think that's it was like a gross moment for me. I was like, I don't think I should do that. I did a bunch of weird stuff with your dad and let's just let that be in the past. I didn't ever actually tell him.
Wait, so
but I told a lot of other people as a story. I never told him. I told other people in my new city as a fun story about my past. But these people are now in my friend group. And my best friend, I also went to high school with, and one of her good friends from high school is now dating Derek, and they're moving out to our city.
And so do you think that Derek knows?
He's got to know.
I don't think he knows.
Why would he know?
Why would he know? Tell him? Why would he know?
His dad's definitely not.
Yeah.
No.
His dad's not going to be oh yeah, you went to class with Caitlin, right? Okay, so
his dad definitely didn't tell.
I have a million questions here, but the first of which being, so what is the spite? You said there was a spite. Now,
well, it's just when you're young and you don't like somebody, maybe they get to be an actor and in all the parts, or maybe they get to be in the good improv group and you're in the leftover improv group, even though your improv group went to state and theirs didn't. And then, but you're just very annoyed at this person. And so you talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
And then all your friends are oh my God, you actually secretly love him.
Yeah, that's
you have a crush on him, you love him, even if you hate him.
Interesting.
And so I kind of was I obviously don't have a crush on him because why would I sleep with his dad? Because you can't come back from that.
Yeah, sound pretty defensive, but yeah. Oh yeah? I have a crush on him? Well, I banged his dad.
Yeah.
Definitive rebuttal, I guess.
I guess it's a good rebuttal, but it's also just all your friends. Were all your friends? How did your friends react to this? Because I'm
it was. So I ended up being I told my one friend, and her reaction was in the moment. I didn't tell anybody else because she was
because she's probably horrified.
That doesn't really help your case that you're not obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And I was yeah, I can see that. In hindsight, especially, I can see that because this all happened 10 years ago. We're all 30 now.
Sure.
And so, I was, what 19-year-old doesn't want attention or just be messy? So that was my messy era.
Yeah.
I like to think it's behind me.
Yeah, Caitlin. I think this goes a little above and beyond the messy threshold for most. But honestly though, yeah. So
but at the end of the day, consenting adults. I'm assuming he was single.
I'm assuming he was single.
Not
Please
married to
tell me he was
Derek's
single.
mom.
Tell me he was single. Okay, cool. So you didn't.
He was single.
And when
he
you
was
say it was
divorced.
easy
I don't know
after
if you've
coffee.
seen anyone else.
Yeah.
What like after?
Yeah.
So it was easy after coffee. How did that transpire? Was it that day, or were you like, oh, let's go for drinks later?
She's 19 at the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Right, so she can't get into a bar if she tried.
So it was like, I was dressed not necessarily for an professional informational interview.
So you wore like a low-cut top
So
type
you
situation.
dressed hot
Yes.
to go to coffee.
I was just very like, I knew he was like fairly recently divorced. And so it was very like, oh my God, like I've always thought you were so smart, or, oh, and I think you're looking so great now. Like, and then I was just like, oh, I wish we could like go get a drink, but I can't. And he was like, cause this will sound bad also, but like, him and my dad are both like really into whiskeys. And so I was like, oh, I'd have this whiskey. It'd be really fun to try, but blah, blah, blah. And so he invited me back to his place to like try it. And then from there, it was like very easy.
Oh.
If that makes
Does
any
your
sense.
dad know?
No.
Yeah, why would her dad know, Rainey?
know.
But,
I don't know.
but also though, like,
No.
yeah, I mean, it's all very suspect, Caitlin. I'm looking at the tape and and it's not looking good, Caitlin. But let me tell you what. I mean, I guess what makes me feel maybe slightly better about the situation is that you keep being like, it was easy. You had one goal and it was to dominate. You approached the situation with the fervor of 1,000 suns. And that is fascinating.
Yeah, I can't imagine that I was subtle. Like at the time I thought I was being like kind of subtle and sexy, and I'm sure I was not.
And obviously
subtle.
he shouldn't have been giving you whiskey because that's illegal,
Right. And by the
Caitlin.
way, it's definitely like, if this is at all like sketchy, it's because it's not your fault. You're 19.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely not
but
your
it
fault.
wasn't really sketchy. He was definitely a lot more conflicted about it than I was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, clearly. As he should have been, Caitlin. You're 19. He was a grown adult man.
But I think that to her 19-year-old self's point though, like this was her goal. She got the number from her dad.
Yeah.
She reached out. She wore low cut top. She was the one. Like it wasn't like he was pushing this in any way.
Yeah.
Pretty resourceful, by the way.
I think it does feel weird to us hearing it, but I also like. Was it just a one-time thing?
No.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Wait, how did it end?
But it wasn't like an ongoing thing. It was like a 3-time thing, and then we just never spoke again.
I
think then I hit into like finals, and I just never texted him back.
To answer your question that you're calling it about, you can't be friends with his son.
I think she can.
Out of my hands. Like he's moving to my city. He's like my best friend, and his girlfriend are really good friends. So he's like kind of that we're reconnecting, and he's gonna kind of he's already like slotting into my friend group, which is great. And like it's been a long time. We're friends now. It's totally fine.
Okay,
except for the fact that like I would just take this to my grave.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that like I have told certain other people who didn't go to high school with me and I didn't think would ever like meet him or know him, or because we have a rule in our friend group that you can like only talk about explicit sexy details if you never expect that person to be in the same room and like make conversation, because
or that person's
son.
If
you're like dating somebody new. Yeah, or that person's son.
Yeah, so
so I just thought it was like, but I don't know if people will like put it together, or because I wasn't as anonymous as I am now because I didn't ever know that he was going to move to my city. So
yeah, Caitlin, this is maybe the craziest call we've had on the show. But I think that okay, so yeah, it's inevitable that you're going to be friends. This guy's moving back into your city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that your role in this has to be that if there are people that you think are going to bring this story up, you tell them to fucking lock it up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that there's a world where you saying anything to this guy is going to be beneficial.
Couldn't agree more. I don't think this needs to be brought up. And if if he finds out somehow, you can address that.
He's out.
No, not necessarily.
He's 100% going to find out.
He's going to find out. It could be years from now, but one of your best friends is marrying him, yeah?
No, is it?
So my best friend's good friend. So she's a good friend of mine, but like
one of your
she's been living in
So it's a friend of a friend is marrying him.
And your best friend knows.
Yes, she knows, but she'll keep it on lock with me. You know, we're each other's secret keepers. But some of our wider friend group that are like Seattle friends or our city friends.
You hear that? If you live in Seattle, lock your dad up.
It's a big city. It's a very
lock
big
your
city.
Dad's up.
But,
Caitlin's out here. Caitlin's out here prowling.
I mean, I just feel like this is one of those things where, like, you know, depending on how the divorce went, like Derek might have his own, you know, reaction to hearing this information that will like trigger being like, oh, my parents getting divorced stuff, that not even just about you banging his dad, but about literally his parents' divorce. I would urge you to find any possible way to keep this information from coming up. Not that it's like so unforgivable. It's just like, if he never knows, his life will be better. He does not need to know.
Yeah, like there's so many, like you don't want him to find out and then be like, what the fuck?
No.
Like, you fucked my dad, because he's going to really think you're obsessed with it, by the way. If you're worried about him being like, I think that if he finds out, he's going to be like so confused. Is his dad hot, by the way?
I mean, he's not hot.
Yeah. No, not the answer I was looking for. not the answer I was looking for, Caitlin. But Caitlin, okay, so all right, so to answer your question,
I do really think we should focus
He's hot but short. He's like a short king.
Go for it, Rainey.
Oh, hot but short.
We love a short king.
We love a short king.
If I were, even if I were my age and some 19-year-old were talking to me, I would not be, inviting him or her to drink whiskey. So I really feel like this story is insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
But I really think the onus is on his dad.
100%.
Well, yeah, and but again, I think the thing you guys have to keep in mind is like he was very recently divorced. Like he's an easy target, He's horny.
He was,
and he was like lonely.
Yeah.
And here's someone being very unsubtle, thinking that they're being subtle. And like, if you're in that situation, you're really sad because you got divorced. You're horny. This person is like throwing themselves at you.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything so wrong. It's just that,
and because it wasn't like I wanted to date. Like, because I don't think people that age should date people that young. But if you want to get like your freaky on, like, I was an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to focus on you because you've done nothing wrong. I think maybe it's a slippery slope to sort of look at the whole situation and examine the wrongness here or there. Assuming that there was no wrongdoing with the you hooking up with this guy, the wrong you did was fucking your friend's dad.
Yeah.
That's maybe wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to assume that obviously the whiskey moment is fucking weird. I'm not even quite sure I'm going to include it. Because it might be leading the witness here. But I do think that, like, the strange thing you did, but that's not what you're calling it about.
Yeah.
So the strange thing you did is in the past since decades ago, we've all made mistakes.
It happened.
We've all diddled a daddy here or there. But let me tell you, Caitlin, what you need to do now is to keep this shit on lock. Or if it causes you extreme anxiety, as it would cause me to have a secret that is this big of somebody that's a member of your community, then maybe consider, like, I don't know, just be prepared. And if, in case he finds out, be prepared with a response that's like, hey, look, this happened a long time ago. Like, I was going all sorts of stuff. Like, we really don't have to talk about it. It's like, honestly.
Like, ultimately,
I agree. I agree.
I could see him having a number of different reactions. And, he might even be like, well, that's fucking weird, but it was 10 years ago and I don't really want to get into it.
Yeah.
But you should be ready with an answer for the day that he finds out, because I do think it's very possible. But if you talk to the people that know the story and you just really fucking emphasize, like, do not tell the story. I do not want him to find out. Like, they probably will. Like, this is the kind of thing that maybe you could talk about with more time is passed, but like I just don't know that you need to. I don't know that you need to have a big heart to heart about. Remember, 10 years ago I fucked your dad, and I'm sorry.
No, definitely that's the wrong move.
He's really close with his dad. Yeah. So okay, thank you. Because I was just like,
he's really close with his dad.
Like, should I get ahead of it? And just like tell him a very sanitized version?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like,
there's nothing to say, Caitlin.
It's like one of those stories that, like, if I'm in my friend group and there's new people there, it's one of those stories where they're like, "Oh my god, Caitlin, tell that," because it's a funny story. Like,
no, it is very funny.
Yeah. Like, why were you so hell bent on doing this? Is funny.
I want you to feel it seen here. Yeah. The story's really fucking funny. The story is very funny. It examines youth. It examines ego. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it does fill my tummy with little bees to think about a group hang where somebody says, "Hey, Caitlin, can you tell that story where you fucked your friend from high school's dad?" And then Derek says, "What story?" And then you say, "I'd rather not talk about it right now." And then he says, "Was it my dad?"
Yeah, see,
that's what I'm afraid of, really.
I know.
You have to avoid that. You have to talk to everyone you know.
Do I just get ahead of it and just tell my friends that, like, that story is done? Like, it's run its course. Yes. I'm not going to tell the story anymore. And maybe just, like, not mention why.
You get and you're preparing for the day that he finds out and that you may need to address it. But it's just like, I'm all for open and honest communication about basically everything. Yeah. But to me, this is a thing that will, like, not in any way benefit him to know and could only make him upset.
And he doesn't need to.
No.
Yeah.
But also focusing on your crush on him, which I think it's safe to say exists, right? Like, there's no way.
Existed.
What?
Yeah.
Existed.
I would say existed in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is I feel like I just cracked the case. I was in the in the judge stand, and you were a witness, and I just because you were like, "Oh, I don't have a crush on him. I don't have a crush on him." But did you ever have sort of any, not necessarily hooking up, but do you have any like intimate moments where he was like, "Smell my face. I just put lotion on it." That happened to me
once. With the daddy? Wait, with the who?
With the kid. With the boy.
The boy. The boy.
With Derek, no.
No, never. Did you ever profess your feelings?
Smell my face?
Yeah.
Smell
but
my
that's
lotion.
No. Because I was in denial about my crush when it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, in hindsight, I can say, like, I've been there. If I truly didn't give a shit, I probably would not have lasered in on sleeping with his dad.
That's what I was going to say.
But that was something that I kind of did in high school. Like, if I got mad at somebody, I would like sleep with his best friend. That was just like kind of my MO at the time.
Just a messy, sort of a messy response.
Sexuality is a source of power.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you did anything wrong or something you need to be like so ashamed of.
Let me clarify. I do think you did something wrong, but I don't think that I wouldn't feel so bad about it. It was a long time ago, and I think also in your mind you're like, well, this guy, I'm never gonna see Derek again. Like, who cares, right? Like, I think that in your mind, this is like a win for you. This is also not somebody you're super, super tight with. Like, I actually think that what you did was messy and a little bit dramatic. But ultimately, like, if you're like, oh, I'm in college now. High school feels like forever ago. Oh, my friend's dad from high school. Like, what if I do that? I'll never see that guy again. And then he happens to date a friend of yours and then move to your city. Yeah. That's bad luck. You know, like, I think that what you did was messy, but that part is bad luck.
I don't disagree it was messy. I just don't think it was like, you didn't murder anyone. You guys were consenting adults. It's just, something that you don't need the son to find out.
I have some notes for the daddy.
Well, yeah.
I have some severe notes for daddy.
He should definitely not have done it.
Yeah. Daddy shouldn't have done it, but you did nothing wrong. Maybe is the title of the episode.
Because I'm pretty sure that, like, if I go to the wedding and run into his dad, I'm pretty positive that we're both just going to pretend like we don't know each other.
Yes.
Well, of course.
Yes.
If I was him, that's what I would do. So that's not really what I'm worried. Yeah, it was more the group situation, but I think that's a good.
As long as you try to get your friends ahead of the fact that, like, you don't need to be telling this in the same way because you don't want it to spread to the one person whose feelings it could really hurt, like, and that's really the only, at this point, the only harm that could be done is him finding out. And again, if he finds out, you can live with that. You can make peace with that. But like, because again, it was a long time ago. It wasn't like you dated his dad or whatever, you banged his dad 3 times and you didn't text him back.
And I would also, when the story, if this ever comes up to Derek, do not tell him it was because, like, be like, I had an informational interview and we kind of hit it off. Hide the fact that it was like a spite diddle.
Spiteful? Yeah.
Like, you want this to come off to Derek if in the future it ever comes off, just as it's like, yeah, like we met up and we had some chemistry and whatever.
But again, that's until he might have a totally weird reaction to it. He might be like, well, that was a long time ago. My dad and I are still tight. It's fine. You know, like
my dad rocks.
Yeah. My dad
fucking rocks. I love when my dad gets
He is genuinely a really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. And so I just don't want you to be in a situation where you're like feeling like, oh, this horrible shame for something you did when you were 19.
No, definitely not. Don't feel that way.
It's really just like,
I'm pretty shameless. Yeah.
I love it, Caitlin. You got great energy.
And seriously, like, I just, you don't want to be having this conversation. You just want to avoid it. So just fucking get your friends to like, that one's going in the vault. We are not talking about that.
Yeah. I want you to feel seen here where you may have diddled a daddy, but there are a lot of gals and guys out there that wish that they had the confidence to diddle your crush's daddy.
That's right.
And I'm telling you right now, just the fact that you did it doesn't make you any worse or better than the people who wish they could have done it. It makes you a winner. It makes you someone who follows through, Caitlin.
Yeah.
So it was messy and dramatic, but it was 10 years ago and everyone makes weird mistakes.
I can't tell you how many calls on this show are just like, I don't know how to talk to this person.
Yeah.
You banged your crush's dad. Like that's something that we don't want to. We were here to celebrate you. We never want to put a woman down.
No, we do not. We celebrate women on this show.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's the juiciest story of all time.
Seriously. Oh my God, it's so juicy, Caitlin. It's a shame that you have to retire it because it's a really good story.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it was my go-to for a reason.
Yeah. You can still tell it sometimes in mixed company or, you know, in company where he's not going to hear it and you're out of town or whatever, but you just cannot be running with that story because it will get back to him at some point.
And now, Caitlin, people may think that you were a plant. Can you give a very specific detail about the hookup just so people get a visceral image? Because I feel like people are going to be like, this girl is so fucking crazy.
Okay, like... He used to stick his tongue like all the way in my ear. Like, I know it's one thing to like lick or like bite an ear, but his tongue would go so far into my ear that it was like kind of uncomfortable.
And there you have it. Caitlin, thank you so much. Caitlin, I want to say, and just to spark notes, it was 10 years ago. You're totally all right. The unfortunate thing is just that he's moving here. If you didn't move here, it wouldn't be a problem, right?
Yeah.
This would just be like, it would still be kind of a funny story. The tricky part is it's like, he's re-entering your community. We all have dark little secrets, and you've done us the hugest favor ever by putting your dark little secret on this little show. And I gotta say, I am thankful. I'm very thankful, Caitlin, and I appreciate you calling in. Does any of this help? Does this help you at all?
Yes, this does help. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, you rock, sincerely.
Yes.
And yeah, you're good. You had a wild past, and I'm proud to have heard about it.
Thank you. I'm honestly proud to have had it.
Thank you so much for calling in, Caitlin. You have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye. Wow, let's just debrief that because I think this is going to be, this episode is one call.
I think so.
Because that, like, we're at a fucking hour.
Yeah.
But that blew me away.
Unbelievable.
Truly. Oh my God. From top to bottom.
And we all got scared in the middle there that we.
Oh, yeah. I think anyone watching the video will be able to tell, like, basically there's like a triangle in this room and we're all just like eyes wide, saying nothing, tense, bodies just like clenching.
Like worried that there's a crime. I mean, I don't even know. I guess I was
a little worried it was going to be a crime.
Let's talk about this live.
The amount of confidence she has, even the retelling is kind of amazing. Like if I was telling the story, I would be like really embarrassed.
The whiskey part of the story is super messy, but like it is messy, period.
Yeah.
I will say internationally, drinking over the age of 18 is a normal thing.
100%.
So not whether or not, like, that's obviously a crime, and I'm not condoning a crime on this show, but and it is fucking weird, and there's a lot of weird stuff that the dad did, but internationally, people are able to drink over the age of 18, and that's kind of
it was also her pitch. It was like, oh, I know, I would love to try this. It was like, this is this is where it's coming down. Is like I don't think the dad like exercised the wisest judgment
Definitely
in his
not.
like extreme divorce.
100%.
0%. Yeah.
Maybe fractured his relationship with his son forever if his son finds out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the daddy's in the wrong.
Right.
Is she in the wrong? Yes.
Yeah.
But less, but like less so. You just spill.
I spilled a little.
That's okay. It's a brown couch.
I'm gonna try. I'm trying to soak it up. I'm trying to soak it up.
I mean, like, yeah, like to have that much follow through, to be like,
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh,
hey,
to
Dad,
pull it off.
I want to do an informational interview. Like to go and fuck that dude. That's so wild.
It's ballsy.
It's ballsy.
I will say I once had I got a date from an informational interview.
You did?
Yeah, but he was my age.
Oh, that's kind of
and
cool,
I went to
though.
elementary school with him.
That's awesome.
And he was a journalist, and my mom like was like text him, and then I went for a walk with him, and I was like, he got kind of hot, but then he was a dick. So
Information interviews is a great way to get your foot in the door.
I did that a bunch.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I
never dated anyone from it.
No.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's maybe not true.
Wow.
No, there was somebody who like asked me out from an information, but then I believe that she was like moving and it never worked out.
Oh, okay.
I should give her a call. Sarah, wait, let me check if Sarah's in labor.
Well, that'd be the perfect time to call her when Sarah gets into labor.
Sarah texted me, and she's not in labor.
That's really
That's
good to hear.
She's hanging
That's
out.
really nice.
I mean, I will say that. Yeah, I would say that most people are like struggling to talk to their crush.
Anyway, yeah, to debrief that call, wow.
Woo.
And I want people to know that that's a situation where I think it's crazy I'm allowed to do this.
Oh, I feel
my
like
God,
I needed
yes.
like 3 months to sort of process that and really decide what I thought of that situation. I'm still not really sure what I think of that.
I know. I think our advice was pretty hands off.
Yeah.
It was like one. You just needed one.
It was a one take wonder.
After the party story, that was for 45 minutes.
Hey, the party story is good.
I liked it.
I like the party
I loved
story.
it. That was a case file. That was a perfect person case
I can't tell
file.
you. I think that story will help more listeners than the diddling daddy story.
Diddling Daddy story was just like, holy shit. It was like This American Life.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
It really was.
Oh,
This
they
American
should do a
Life.
This American Life episode about diddling your friend's daddy.
Act 1, diddling your dad. Act 2, Derek's performance in high school.
I know. Well, high school is such a tender time. Like I was such a spitfire. I feel like in high school that I do sort of. I would never do that, but I do think I would. I was really mad at my crushes for no reason. You know.
Yeah. I like, yeah, you're mad. I feel like I've told the Fruit Loop story at some point. But,
I haven't heard it.
I don't.
I'll
remember
briefly
it.
go over it. But I mean, my high school girlfriend broke up,
Yeah.
and she Fruit Looped my car.
What does that mean?
We went to a party, and when we came back, my car had been at this other girl's house, and it was parked unlocked because it was down like a dirt driveway. And I came back, and there was like an inch of Fruit Loops all over the inside, and then she had whipped creamed asshole on the windshield.
Wow.
We just broke up too. It was like I wanted to go to the Vampire Weekend concert with my friends. And she was like, I can't believe you're going to the Vampire Weekend concert
without me.
Or like with your friends. And like, it was lame. And
Hold
then-
up on the reins, honey. Give a little slack there.
Yeah, it was wacky.
I'm kind of inspired by the asshole on the window, though. I've never done that.
Yeah, but it was like so high school because I was like, I didn't do anything. I like,
Yeah,
I was like,
it wasn't
we just broke up. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, I have to stop seeing you.
But my experience of having crushes in high school is like the feelings are so much more
It's
intense.
so hot.
Yeah.
Than as you get older and you get a little more used to dating and a
right.
little more used to like how it goes.
Mhm.
But like I didn't really, I didn't really do anything with these big feelings. But my guess is that if you had those big feelings and then even if someone nice broke up with you, you would then feel the urge to do something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a little older, that's like a win for them because of how much effort you put into like doing this prank.
Oh yeah.
That brings us to the final segment of the show.
Oh yeah, I had an idea for what we could do.
You
by the
do?
way.
I love, honestly, I
Okay.
had a couple, but I was hoping that one of you would bring something.
Okay, this is my idea.
Yeah.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah,
My
please.
idea is that we do a compliment circle, where
That's huge, Will.
we hold hands or we like.
We don't have
just
to hold hands. but I do love the idea of a compliment circle.
We have to each give each other like a genuine compliment that we really feel.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Okay,
I know that we all like each other in this room.
Absolutely.
So it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Oh my gosh, I have to really think because I actually like you guys are both very meaningful to me. So So I feel like I'm like putting on.
Very sweet. You're both very meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Same.
Like, how do I put this to words?
Well, obviously, welcome to the segment Get Real, a segment where we force a genuine moment in an effort to learn more about each other and ourselves. Today we're doing a compliment circle. Now, I think it's only right that Will begins.
Yeah.
You're right. I would say, Miles, you're just such a kind person in so many ways, and I really appreciate it. You were so nice to me when I didn't come to your party last night, and you didn't make me feel bad. You didn't.
Of course.
And it's just that kind of support is not something that I've having with every friend. So it means a lot. Yeah. You're genuinely a kind person.
That's really, really sweet, Will.
Now you go.
Okay. The fuck was that? There you go. Felt like he was just doing it to put in the time. He was just clocking in with the compliment. So now I guess I'll do you. Will.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a really genuine one. Will, you have a very an energy that you really bring lightness to a group. And when you enter a friend group or whatever, people love you and they feel supported by you. You're a wonderful conversationalist. I feel like when you're a part of any sort of group hang, you lift the vibe. And
that's so nice of you to say.
You're very, very supportive, and I feel like it makes everybody feel more comfortable to have you around because you're such a supportive conversationalist with everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, now you go.
Okay. Rainey. Hold on, let's reposition.
Will's turning.
Rainey, you gave me Christmas gifts recently, which makes me feel bad because I felt like
It wasn't for Christmas.
Yeah. Whatever.
What was it for?
It was for thank you for. Yeah. Well, I'll get into it for my compliment.
Yeah. Basically, like, I didn't feel like you owed me anything, and I'm thrilled to have been like a small part in helping you, get a job and so forth. But it's really nice to I think that the way that you ask questions is so funny and so interesting. Mm-hmm. And like you were telling me on the phone again in your 30-minute party call where you you were telling me that you're like, I'm such an introvert, but that's like not the vibe I get from you. I guess it's because we already know each other. Mm-hmm. But I love that we're friends. I really do.
Me too.
That's so sweet.
Should I go?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say no. You go.
Well, I guess I did. Go.
Come on, go, Rainey.
Okay, well, so the present that I was getting for Will is because not even after graduating, but even before then, our parents are friends, and I found that if there's any issue ever, you got to find the nearest Witwer. I haven't really employed your brothers, and I do think
employed.
I haven't really asked Peter or Charlie about it, but I do. You have. So starting sophomore year of college, I called Will because my dad was like, call Will. My dad is always like, call Will. He loves you. And he's like, call Will and ask how to edit, which is like obviously an enormous question. Shout out Darwin. And so I called you and I remember getting off the phone and being like, that guy kind of rocks. Like I was just sort of like, yeah, he was just like really pleasant. And then you guys have just, you have continued to help me in like enormous ways. I can't believe you don't think that you deserve that much credit because I just think of like where it would be without you would be in freaking Kentucky reporting on oil, I think. And because Will, so I did an interview with Will. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is straying because at the heart, I think that you are so generous. You're so smart. You give yourself no credit. And I really wish that you would know how funny and how interesting and how like elevating you are. Because I really believe that.
Thank you. Now give Miles a compliment.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Miles. This is another, like, see, this is hard because, like, you guys both have sincerely changed my life. So I'm like, okay,
That's really nice.
Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like I've learned so much from you. You have been incredibly warm, and like from the first day, just being like, this is why I'm excited for you to be a dad, actually, because you have this voice that you shift into when you are guiding that's very tender and very sweet. And I'm excited for your son to hear it. It's like, oh yeah, of course. No. Yeah, I totally get that. And you're very patient, and you're very, really funny. I actually think you're incredibly talented. And I think I've learned a lot about comedy from you. And yeah, I just am like very, very grateful that that you're my first boss, and that you showed me the ropes of how to like be an employee and like get things done. Because you were so gracious about it. And there was room for you to be like, you just got to get your shit together. Yeah, so truly, I'm really grateful for both of you, and and I can't put into words in this moment how impactful you guys have been.
That is unbelievably kind. Rainey, well, here's a compliment coming hot and fresh. I think you're immensely talented, and I think that it's obviously been a pleasure to be your manager person at work, because it's been very wonderful to watch your personality be exposed. I think that whenever you start a new job, especially like you were younger when you started your job, as was I when I started my first job.
Yeah.
I think that it was really nice to see you and to watch you get comfortable in the second try environment. And you're such an integral part of that place. And I think that, like, I'm going on paternity leave soon, leaving the kids to the podcast studio. And I'm so proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you for I don't really get the sound. I'm very proud of you and what you've done. And I feel like I'm not nervous at all about you taking the reins for a little bit. I also think that, like, having seen what you are capable of, I think that you are just skimming the surface of what you have in store for what you're going to do.
Oh my God.
And I think that, like, the times when your like true skill comes out, or when you're interviewing people, or when you're asking questions, or when you're doing like higher touch projects, like we did the whole disability episode, you have a brain for storytelling. And I think
I'm actually gonna cry.
And I think that you're just like at the beginning of your career and your journey, and I'm excited to watch you grow.
Oh, thank you, Miles.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is really sweet. My friends are picking me up to go to Avatar, The Way of Water. I should go.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh my God.
You can obviously follow at Will at W.
Oh
Witwer.
yeah, and we didn't even talk about the big post. We don't need to. People were earth shaken.
People loved it. People loved it.
We don't even need to comment on it. It was so huge. It's
But
like, what is there to say?
I guess all there is to say is September 5. Get ready for Will's fucking next
It's not
post.
even December 1 again.
September 5, man. Not even a year from the first one.
I will post no later than September 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rainey, you can follow that.
Oh yeah, it's Raining Toll, and at Rainy Toll on Twitter.
That's right. We gotta get Rainey Toll on Instagram as well.
Hell
Get that
yeah.
uniform brand handle.
We need it.
Yes.
And thank you so much for doing the show, both of you. I love you both very much.
Love you too.
It's been a pleasure. Anything to plug?
If you're thinking about banging your friend's dad, maybe think again.
Maybe think twice.
Truly.
And I guess the last thing for people to remember, that perfection is only a call away.
That was a Headgum podcast.